Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about today on the program, no doubt about it. And of course, we are going to cover a lot of things today because now that today is the second full day of Trump's second term. And, okay, we're going to be live in just over 2 minutes on the radio. We'll be taking your calls. So there's a lot going on each and every day with President Trump. But what they're doing with Elon Musk has got to be addressed. There's no getting around it, okay? I mean, what they're doing to Elon Musk is disgusting, and they're in a panic about it. I'm going to break it all down when we get on the air. And I'll tell you, I'm wearing this Elon Musk Dark MAGA t-shirt this morning. Complete coincidence. Has nothing to do with the topic because I got out of the shower this morning. I got dressed. It's dark. I go in my t-shirt drawer and grabbed a t-shirt and put it on. And the story here about Elon Musk, I had planned on not talking about this story with Elon Musk because it's so absurd. But the Democrats, the media, the left are in such a panic over Elon Musk that they're pushing this story. So it's just a coincidence I'm wearing the Elon Musk Dark MAGA shirt. Okay, less than a minute and we're going to be live. If you're new to my channel, my name is Brian Craig. I am broadcasting on a whole bunch of FM radio stations. I host a morning show, and when I'm on the radio, I live stream here on YouTube and other places as well. And the calls that you will hear are from people listening on the radio, people watching on YouTube Live, or iHeartRadio, or something else. So if you'd like to call in about anything I bring up on the program today, you're welcome to do so. The number is pinned in the chat if you're watching live, 888-465-2631. All right, stand by. Here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Today is the second full day of the greatest president ever, our favorite president, Donald Trump's second term. And a lot has happened. News is breaking like every 10 seconds with Donald Trump in office. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. We're going to cover all of it if we can. But today, I'm going to, believe me, I'm going to get into the bishop at the church and a whole bunch more. But I am compelled to talk about the slanders going on against the great Elon Musk, the Albert Einstein of our time. Okay, I had really planned on not bringing this up. I had zero intention on talking about Elon Musk today because this idea that he gave a Nazi salute is so absurdly stupid that I did not think that it was worthy of airtime. And I mean that. I got a call at the very end of yesterday's show. I wish the guy would have called a little earlier. I was right up against the end of the show, and I had to end the call before I was ready because we ran out of time. The show was over. But he was some liberal guy, and he wanted me to comment on Elon Musk giving the Nazi salute. I said he didn't. He said he did. And I said, listen, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. In fact, he's the richest man who has ever lived. Not only is he rich and the richest man ever, he's a genius. Not only does he launch rockets into outer space, people have been doing that for a long time. he has made, and he knows how they work. If you ever hear him talk, he's an engineer. He knows how these rockets work. He's not just some rich guy who funded the company. He's a part of the space program. And not only that, his rockets are at least 20 years ahead of the technology of the number 2 rocket technology nation on the planet. He has the ability, he's done it multiple times, it blows my mind, it never gets old, to launch rockets into outer space, and then the rocket, unmanned, lands back on the launch pad. It's ingenious. In fact, this rocket landing back on the launch pad very well may be the biggest advancement in the space program since the moon landing, okay, with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And I mean that. I don't think that's an exaggeration. It's an incredible advancement in rocket technology. So I explained this to this guy, and I said to him, I said, someone who's so smart, got everything going on, so brilliant, the Albert Einstein of our time, why would he do something so stupid, even if he was an undercover Nazi, of giving the Nazi salute? It makes no sense whatsoever. And there's a lot of these issues, they come out, and I'm like, that's so stupid, I can't even talk about it. And then as I'm doing my show prep this morning, the media, including Elon Musk's X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, is just filled with this liberal obsession. And I'm going to go through some of this early on in the show, and I'm going to get into a lot of other issues. I don't want to do the whole show on this, believe me. But, here's the Hollywood Reporter. They have a headline story. Sometimes a Nazi salute is just a Nazi salute. Did Elon Musk intentionally Sieg Heil at Donald Trump's inauguration rally? Sometimes it only matters what you do, not what you intend. Sometimes a Nazi salute is a Nazi salute. What are they talking about? It's insane. Okay? It makes no sense whatsoever. But here's what the real issue is. And, with the left never come at you with what their real beef is. Right? They're always trying to cancel people by accusing them of these things. And here's the story with Elon Musk and the left and the establishment and the media. He terrifies them. He terrifies them for many, many reasons. One, since he took over X, bought Twitter, turned it into X, he owns and operates the largest in history news organization in the history of the news industry, where they've completely lost control of the narrative. They didn't mind Twitter being bigger than them when it was run by liberal jerks who were shutting down everyone's account that was MAGA. But now that it's a free speech platform, they're in a panic. But their bigger panic is not that, it's this. He's the richest man in the world, and he's MAGA. And he's not barely the richest man. The number now the 2 and 3s, depending on stock prices, can fluctuate. But the number 2 richest man is Jeff Bezos. And Elon Musk is worth about twice as much as Bezos, all right? So he's not just the richest man in the world by a little, he's the richest man in the world by a lot. A lot of people believe that Elon Musk will be the first trillionaire, which I don't even know if that's possible, but hey, I don't know. And he's MAGA. And they've seen the success they've had with George Soros and other millionaires, they're New York and Hollywood elite over the years. And they've seen how, I give you an example. This morning, there's a story of a Soros-backed prosecutor somewhere. I can't remember where. It doesn't matter. But there's a Soros-backed prosecutor somewhere who's talking about pressing local charges, bringing local charges against the just pardoned J6 prisoners. And the Democrats see the success they've had with George Soros funding elections around the country, and he's not on the top richest list. You've got someone as rich as Elon Musk pledging to, which he's done, to back MAGA candidates and even back candidates that are liberal in primaries to primary some of these establishment people out. Same thing with Republican establishment, phony Republicans and all of that. They're in a panic. Donald Trump, they're in a panic about what Donald Trump's doing right now, but they understand he only has 4 years. He's term limited out of office. And sadly, he's not a young man. I wish he was 45 or 50, but he's not. So they figure he's only got 4 years, and then by the time he gets out, he'll be in his 80s, and he'll wind down. They deal with it by that rationalization. That's what they tell themselves about Trump. They're wrong, but that's what they tell themselves. Elon Musk is in his early 50s. He's going to be around for a long, long time. Okay? And they're panicked about the legacy, the MAGA legacy that Elon Musk is bringing. So what they've been trying to do, and by the way, the reason Elon Musk is MAGA is because of the establishment, because of the Democrats, because of the Never Trumpers. Remember, Elon Musk was a Democrat until they shot Trump in Butler, and that woke Elon Musk up. And he's been with us ever since. So if you've noticed, since Elon Musk has been on the Trump train, they've constantly been trying to bring him down. They started this thing, they were calling him President Musk and Vice President Trump. That didn't work. Now they think they got him with this Nazi thing. And the way they're behaving with it is completely insane because there's these photographs all over the place of all your favorite Democrats, Kamala, AOC, Hillary Clinton, Tim Walz recently, all doing the exact same thing, moving their arms around on stage. And these, of course, are not Nazi salutes. They even have Obama doing this. And if you remember a few years back, the Democrats were talking about the OK symbol was a symbol of white supremacy. Remember that? If you did the OK symbol with your fingers, that was a white supremacy thing. Well, I remember when Eddie Murphy, during his #1 box office heyday, like Beverly Hills Cop, you go to all those big Eddie Murphy movies, he ends every movie. Eddie Murphy, who, by the way, if you don't remember, Eddie Murphy is black and great. I love Eddie Murphy. Love Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop 2, pretty good. 3, well, And that thing they did on Netflix recently. But he would end Eddie Murphy. He would end every movie with doing that OK symbol. So, so they're always trying to do this. And they're going to be going after Elon Musk forever because he scares them to death. Now, we're going to take our first break. I want to finish up with this after the break and move on to some other topics, but you are all welcome to call in. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this. All right, so let me finish up with this a little bit. Oh, boy, I tell you, they just can't. They're in a, they think they're the only ones that are supposed to have rich people backing them, I guess. I don't know. For some reason, they if there's rich people backing Trump, all of a sudden it's rich people are bad. It's like now with the J6 prisoners, all of a sudden the Democrats are the defender of police, right? That's how they operate. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. That helps a lot, guys. And also, if you don't mind, click that notification bell. Now, yesterday I was talking about that song that Conservative Doug had written about me, right? And that, let me take care of that. Hold on. That's available on my Patreon page. Hold on. We'll be back shortly, guys. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. I want to take a moment to tell you guys about the great doorbell camera offer from Slomin's, which you really need to take advantage of. If you've not done it already, call Slomin's and get your free doorbell camera. You know, they're going to give you a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin Shield. It's a great deal. Slomin's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So they're going to give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Slomin Shield. Give them a call. It's an easy number to remember. 1-800-ALARM-ME. They gave me a new number to give you guys today. This is easy to remember. Get that free doorbell camera offer with the installation of your Slomin Shield. You will love it. It'll change your life. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME to get your free doorbell camera. All right, so I'm going to finish up with this Elon Musk thing because they are in an insane panic over this. And I'm explaining to you why it's important to go through all of this. But the way they're reacting, if any time the Democrats are losing something, they call you Nazi. I mean, this is just the way it is, right? We've dealt with this forever. But AOC has weighed in on this. She put out a series of videos, and let's play a little bit of this, and then after the bottom of the hour, I'm going to move into some of the other topics, okay? This is AOC, who really does not do a lot to help promote the college that gave her a degree. Where'd she go, to Boston College? Listen to this idiot, AOC.
You're going to do a Sig Hail? You're going to do a hail.
A Sig Hail. A Sig Hail. Is that some kind of German beer? Is that a dark beer? Is it a light beer? Does it come in draft and bottle? Does it come in a can? I'm not sure what that is. Does she mean Sieg Heil? She's against something that she doesn't even know what it is.
You're going to do a Sig Hail? You're going to do a Hail Hitler? Or their rebrand a Roman salute from behind the presidential seal of the United States of America?
Does she love this? All of a sudden, AOC is respectful of the symbols of the United States. I thought this was a racist colonizer country.
It's on. It's on. And what is so important,
yes, what's important
for us to understand is that as long as we don't give up, it's not over. It's not over. It is not over. Libs of TikTok started crying because I said over the weekend that Donald Trump is a rapist. And they went on Twitter and they went, oh, boo-hoo-hoo. And I said, basically, F you. Cry.
Oh, my goodness. Is she a class act, AOC? See, this is the Trump derangement syndrome. Here she is, a sitting member of the United States House of Representatives, and she's moving up through the ranks because is this not her third term? So she's moving up the ranks of seniority, AOC, and the Trump derangement is sinking in. This is what's going on with these Democrats and why the Democrats are going to lose for decades to come. And this is why. They don't understand why they lost. They have no idea, and we don't want them to understand. The Democrats believe that they lost because they didn't brand their message properly. So they're trying to rebrand their message that has been rejected. The entire woke agenda has been rejected. All right, well, let's take some calls. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you get off the speaker. Okay, there you are. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Maryland.
Hey, Marilyn, you're on the air. Go ahead.
So I wanted to ask, understand that you're defending Elon Musk and the movements he's done in real time versus pictures of a freeze frame that you're showing of other people versus, live video. But my question is this: what if Elon actually is racist? What if?
What does that even mean? He's not.
What do you mean? What does it mean? What if there's people that respectfully that can self-identify? Dennis Duke, whatever his name is.
Well, give me an example. Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on a second, because I'm glad you called in from Maryland, the home of the great American Frederick Douglass. Okay. Give me an example of something that Elon Musk has done that's racist or discriminates against non-white people.
Well, he's been quoted and has had conversation about how he does believe that he is of a superior race.
I've never heard him say that. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Right now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Okay, hold on a second. I'm glad that you bring that up. Okay. If you can tell me where to look Elon Musk up saying that, I'll play it on the radio right now. You said that Elon Musk said that he believes he's a member of a superior race. Can you tell me where I can find the audio or video of that? I'll pull it up right now and play it on the radio of him saying that. Hello? Can you tell me?
Hi.
Okay, I lost you. I'm going to ask you again. You said that Elon Musk claimed that he's the member of a superior race. Tell me where I can find the audio or video of Elon Musk saying that, and I will play it on the radio right now.
Okay. Google it.
Google it? If you're accusing someone of being one of the worst things a human can be, and you don't have the information to back it up, you want me to do your research?
Not to see what they saw.
Excuse me. You want me to do you're going to call someone one of the worst? There's only a couple things worse than that you can be. A rapist and a murderer and a pedo, okay? So you're telling me like the fourth worst thing someone can be, and you never heard him say it?
What is the problem if he is a racist? What if he does believe?
What if he is? What if you're a racist? What does that mean? Are you a racist?
I'm saying.
Are you a racist?
Why are you so defensive in the fact of some people can sit in what and who they are? Because
you are slandering someone. What if you're a racist?
I said, what is wrong with it?
Well, he's not a racist.
You think being a racist is wrong?
Excuse me?
Do you think being a racist is wrong?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Why?
Because first off, I have a biracial family. Okay, I've talked about this a lot. My daughter is black. I live the dream of Martin Luther King. I live in an interracial family. Okay, I live my life with the dream of Martin Luther King. I judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And anyone who discriminates against anyone, whether it's racial, religious, gender, or anything, I don't support that. And I cut people like that out of my life, okay? But this idea, this idea that what if someone's a racist, that's the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
I don't understand the alt-right and the people that are attracted.
What is the alt-right? Excuse me, what is the alt-right? What is the alt-right?
People that believe that they are of a superior race.
Who's the leader of the alt-right?
Who is the leader of the alt-right?
Yes.
They have different segments.
Well, who is the most prominent leader in the alt-right movement that you fantasize?
I think that we can look at the remnants that have come from.
Give me a name. Give me the most prominent leader of the alt-right. Give me a name. Don't stop buying time and using a bunch of fancy college words.
All I'm just saying is this information is Googleable.
Googleable. Maybe you should have it at your fingertips if you're going to accuse people. You know, you are a shameful person. I'm going to tell you why. You know, you're calling me from Maryland, which is where the great Frederick Douglass was held in bondage by one of you Democrats. Okay, a Democrat like you, because you're a Democrat, held Frederick Douglass in slavery. All right, in Maryland. And, you know, with someone that escaped from slavery, so, you know, the people like Martin Luther King, who gave his life for the civil rights movement, the great Rosa Parks, and many other people who fought against racism, if I asked them to tell me give me an example or name the top racist leader in America, they'd give me a name at their fingertips, not a bunch of distractions like you're doing. I'll tell you, you know who the racist is? You.
Different types of groups that the people that just got, a lot of them just got released out, you know, some of them.
Oh, you mean like Enrique? You mean like the black Hispanic guy? Yeah, I know, from the Proud Boys. Yeah, he's racist too, right? He's a white supremacist, the black Hispanic guy? Give me a break.
I mean, race doesn't have to be just with white. You do understand that. People from
to be Cuba, a white supremacist, excuse me, to be a white supremacist, the number one requirement first would be to be white. You can't be a white supremacist if you're not white. You know that, right?
To be a supremacist, what I'm talking about is people that have
now it's not white supremacist, it's supremacist? Sad. You're a sad person. Sad person.
How is that a sad situation? What I'm trying to say is
because we are living. I'll tell you why.
That are
of course there are racist. Of course there are racist. I'm talking to one right now. You do not like white people.
What are you talking about? I don't like white people.
Yeah, you don't like white people. People that are white that have a different opinion than you call them racist. Well, wait a minute. What if you do hate white people? What if you do hate white people? What if you do hate white people?
I'm saying it's not a situation but I do understand the aspect of
what?
The majority of white people, there's only really 7%.
Really? What is the aspect of white people?
And so I understand the need to be able to preserve your legacy.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? See, this is what you're doing. You're a black supremacist. You're a black supremacist. You don't care for uppity white people. Okay? Uppity white people. Well, people that question uppity white people are conservative people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, me and others who stand up against your liberalism. And because you can't defend your liberalism, you try to cancel people that by calling them terrible names.
We really do take advantage and work off the backs and utilize the majority of people for their own, for that very small, minute
What
group.
Are you talking about?
It's the 1% against everyone else.
What does that mean? So you're a communist.
A communist? No, I believe that we need to stop giving people who do not have the majority of
if you went to prehistoric times in America or Africa, okay? If you went to prehistoric times in Africa or America, and we had people were tribal. Excuse me, people were tribal. People were tribal, right? The Indians were tribal. The Native Africans were tribal.
No, we're talking about a sophistication.
No, we're talking about what I want to talk about. I'm hosting the show. I decide what we talk about, not you. I'm the host. In the days of tribal living in Africa and in the Americas, who led the tribe? Excuse me. Who led the tribe?
Got your methods in your calendar.
Who led the tribe? What was the name of the person that led a tribe?
There were several tribe members.
No, called a chief. A chief, right? A chief. There was every tribe had a chief, right? The tribes had a chief.
Right.
Or if they had a governing council, Well, they were the 1% of their day. So now when it comes to industry in the modern era where we have large corporations, they're owned and run by the new chiefs. They're called CEOs now. So the leaders in any society have always been the 1%, whether it was the prehistoric tribes of Africa, Europe, or the Americas, or the corporations today. The 1%ers have always, there's an old expression, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. I don't know if you're allowed to use that anymore. You got to have a leader. And today's leaders are CEOs. That's it, just like in the days of the tribal chiefs. Too much for you?
No, I'm just saying I appreciate your take on history and.
No, I'm not talking about history. I'm talking about you and your dislike of rich people, and I don't think you like white people. I don't think you like white people or rich people.
Why do you? I mean.
Because you told me a minute ago that you understand white people who want to maintain their culture. What are we talking about? I don't hear white people talking about their bloodline. That's in your fantasy. Listen, I got to run for the break, but thank you for your call, all right? Take care. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. Crazy. Crazy lady. Total crazy lady. Totally insane. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, total nutbag. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And you're all welcome to call in. All the calls are screenless. I do not screen the calls. I screen the calls live on the air. So if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Crazy lady. Completely insane. Oh. Very strange and sad. Very sad lady. Very sad lady. I hope she's not a school teacher. That'd really be rough. Yeah, we'll be back shortly, and then I'll go right back to the phones. I like when she says, okay, but what if he is a racist? Oh, so we're supposed to talk in hypotheticals? What if people are these terrible things? What if he's an axe murderer or a serial killer? What would that be? So stupid. What if he makes balloon animals? We might as well talk about that. Okay, but what if he is? So stupid. The left. That's the type of mentality that's been running this country. That's why Trump is ending all these DEI programs. DEI programs are run by people like that Lady Admiral in the Coast Guard that Trump fired, right? Boy, oh boy. I'm going to California. I'm very excited. Go see my daughter in California. We'll be back on the radio in 2 minutes. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh, Democrats. So, I live Martin Luther King's dream. I judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And liberal black people are not accustomed to white people questioning them. Because liberal white people, even a lot of conservative white people, are afraid of being called a racist. So when someone who's African American, who's black, is talking, they defer to them, because they're afraid. So when you are involved in a real dialogue with someone who's liberal and black, they don't take it too well. They're not accustomed to it. Make sure you subscribe if you are new to the channel. We'll be back live on the radio in just over a minute. Every line on the board is full. So I'm going to go back to the calls right out of the break. I'll try to take them to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. Nope, no, there's one opening right there. One opening on the board. Boy, oh boy. These people are out of their minds. 45 seconds and we'll be back live on the radio. Yes. Well, blaming everyone from South Africa for what's happened, that's like saying, would you blame every black person for crime committed by blacks or every Hispanic person for all the crime that's committed by Hispanic people? I don't think so. Charlize Theron's, the actress, is from South Africa. Is she a racist too? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Here it is, coming up on 37 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. Every line on our board is lit. I'm going to go back to the phones. That last caller, okay, Elon Musk's not a racist, but what if he is? I mean, what kind of discussion is that? What if he's a serial killer? We want to talk about that too? That's insane. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie. My goodness.
I just when I get up in the morning, I walk into the bathroom, I turn on the light, I look in that mirror, and for that lady that just called you, the first thing I'd say, look at that old white face. Thank God I'm white. I mean, these people are. This is their whole life. They're thinking about the color of their skin, like Obama put in his book. He wanted to rip his skin off because he was black.
Yeah.
I mean, come on already. Stop it. This crap's got to stop. Listen, I only went to 1 year of college at BCC, and I didn't like it, so I left it, okay? I drove a bus. My life experience is my education, not this lady that just called you up, who sounds like she's got more of an education than I do, but I have life experience.
That's right.
Let me tell you, lady.
Common sense.
Let me tell you, that's exactly what this whole campaign has been, common sense. They're going after Elon Musk, okay? First of all, to verify it, my father was Jewish, so I have a little bit of Jewish background in me.
You have enough to be sent to a camp if you were in Nazi Germany.
That was not a Hitler.
Yeah.
No, my father was a German Jew. My father's parents.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the bottom line is that I don't think he's a racist, but this is all going to be hey, look, they called President Trump a racist for the last 8 years. They're trying to associate. You got to understand, if they could take Musk down with this crap, they're going to say the big Hitler is in the White House now. Because that's been the narrative.
This is their panic, Richie. This is what I started with. Okay, the liberals never come at you with what their real gripe is. They try to cancel you with all this crap. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. He's twice as wealthy as the second richest man. Okay, that's amazing at that level. So no one's going to catch up to him. And he's MAGA. He's Republican, and he has vowed to support candidates. And they're panicked because they've seen the power of Soros. So he's nowhere close as rich as Trump. As Musk. So, someone like Elon Musk comes out like this, they see themselves as not being able to win anything ever again. So they're trying to cancel him from society.
Well, of course, the media, by the way, he's the biggest threat to ABC, CBS, NBC, all of them. You've been talking for a long time that everyone's not with that kind of news anymore. They're on the internet.
Yeah.
And by the way, it just came over that J.D. Vance wants a full investigation of Judge Merchan.
Absolutely, and it's going to happen. He very well could end up in prison, Judge Merchan. Very well.
All right, so that's number one. Number two, AOC. I got to bring her up because I'm from the Bronx. I was born and raised there. I left there when I was 18 years old. The Bronx, my particular neighborhood, it was so unsafe at the end, and it got even worse. Where I go on YouTube now, I can see where there's shootings in the street.
Yeah.
I mean, broad daylight.
Well, AOC was not raised in the Bronx. Okay, she visited there.
She represents. Listen, what I'm trying to say is she represents the lowest form of human being, the poorest, crime-ridden, and she doesn't give a damn about her.
No.
She doesn't care about her area in the Bronx.
And you know
She has
what? If
raised in
Elon,
Westchester.
I want you to think about this. She's out there calling him a Nazi, AOC. She drives one of Elon Musk's cars. She has a Tesla. So why is she driving a Nazi's car? Is she giving up her Tesla?
She is a full-blown communist. She's not a socialist. She is what is called a communist.
Yeah. All right, Richie, I'm gonna run, but thanks for the call. You were getting a little far off topic here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi there, Brian. My name's Richard. I'm calling from Perth in Australia.
All right, Richard in Australia. What's on your mind, Australia?
Yeah. Look, I consider myself like a centre-right political leaning person. I lived in California in the late 2000s, and my views do differ from MAGA, I'm going to be honest.
No, that's too bad. It's too bad.
But, no, look, it's fine. Like, on immigration, right? Australia, that's one thing where I do believe in sovereign borders.
Sovereign borders,
Absolutely.
Really? Yeah. When have you?
Yeah,
okay. So Australia's more enlightened. I don't know. We've had a black president elected and reelected. When have you ever had one of those? That's pretty good.
Fine.
Have you? Oh well, I'm glad you approve. I didn't vote for him, but have you ever had one of the native Aborigines become prime minister of your island?
No, not at all. But
they've all been white.
Members of Parliament.
Yeah.
But I guess what I wanted to sort of speak to you.
What do you disagree with MAGA on? You say you don't agree with, but what do you disagree with President Trump on?
Okay, so I guess originally let's go back to the beginning, and when Trump decided to run originally, right? You've got a man, and let's go back to conservative values and what the GO party represented, say, at that time,
gosh.
right?
Yeah.
And what it would take for a candidate.
Okay, come on, time's money. You're calling from Australia. It's an expensive call. Be specific.
Like,
tell me what you disagree with President Trump on. I don't want to hear some vague generality gobbledygook.
No, what I disagree with is how conservatives could elect and support a man that is 3 times married, who had sex with Stormy Daniels while his wife was at home with a child.
That's not true, but go ahead.
He doesn't deny that.
It doesn't deny it. Stormy Daniels said it wasn't true. So your opposition.
That is wrong.
No, it's not. She signed a statement. Stormy Daniels wrote a statement that she never had and signed it that she never had sex with Donald Trump. But forget about that. Let me ask you another question. Since you're not being forthcoming, conservatives are not responsible.
No,
Excuse me. Slow down. Conservatives are not the only ones who voted for Trump. President Trump won the majority of the American people who voted of all backgrounds. A lot of Democrats voted for him. But let me ask you this. Excuse me.
Sure.
If Australia just went poof and didn't exist today, what would change? How would I know? Like, what would the world not have? What would we be without?
So China would not have access to.
And I didn't ask about China. What is Australia's number one contribution to the world?
So Pine Gap in Australia is one of the US's most. Pine Gap in Australia is one of the US's most important defense bases.
No. I'm not talking about a base that we have over there to save your butts, like we did in the Second World War. We saved you from the Japanese. We saved you from. No. I'm talking about what would the world miss? Like if Australia shut down today, what would I not have?
Yeah. You would not have defense capabilities in the southern sky.
What? Well, no. That we wouldn't need it because we wouldn't have to be there protecting you. It would be an empty ocean. It would be just ocean. It would be just ocean. Like in the United States,
Okay, well,
the United States is the largest economy in the world. We provide you with defense. We provide you with foreign aid. We provide the world with a lot of products in our economy. And what I'm here to tell you is that Australia's contribution to the world is quite minimal. And the reason that is...
We invented Wi-Fi, mate. So you're the
yeah, but what are you doing with whatever? You invented Wi-Fi, whatever. Somebody else would have invented that. Yeah. Your contribution to the world is minimal, okay? And the reason that you're hold on, I'm making a point. The reason, excuse me, the reason that Australia's role in the world is so minimal is because you're a socialist country. You're not a free country like America.
We are not a socialist country, my friend.
Sure. How many guns do you own? How many guns do you own? I have a ton of them. How many guns do you own?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I own 4. So
4? Really? I thought they had gun control. They confiscated the guns. I've seen stories where I saw a story a couple years ago. I couldn't believe this. An Australian's home. An Australian gets his house broken into. Oh, bolt action. Oh, okay. Are they flint? Okay, so you got flintlocks. Okay.
And if you have a handgun license, you can.
A handgun license. I don't need a damn license. You know what? Your freedom of religion. Tell me how prominent is the Church of Scientology in Australia?
It's not that prominent.
Yeah, it's illegal. It's been made illegal. The Church of Scientology is illegal.
No,
yeah, it is. It's banned in Australia.
No, it's not.
It is. You're not my friend. It's banned, and you had a nationwide gun confiscation. See, President Trump won because
after there was a mass shooting.
After his mass shooting. See, President Trump won because unlike you guys, we are lovers of freedom. Okay, Mel Gibson is not even Australian. He's our guy.
Come visit, man. It's quite nice over here. But look, I really do appreciate what you're doing and for taking my call.
Well, thank you for calling. All right, I appreciate the call. All right, we'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back. Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. Phone lines are very busy. Oh, boy. Welcome. Thank you for the super chat. Good morning, American Samoa. That's right, American Samoa in the house. Welcome. If you're on hold, hang in there. There's 2 openings on our board. Okay. Oh boy. You notice these liberal callers they're very gobbledygook with their language. They don't like Trump, they can't tell you why. Elon's a racist, they can't give us an example of something racist he said or done. We'll be back in about 90 seconds live on the radio. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. If you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind. All right. We'll be back in 1 minute. When we get back, I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Stand by. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to tell everyone about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, and then I'm going to go back to the calls. We've started off pretty good today. We've got some liberal loons out there. The Trump derangement syndrome's back. It's a plague that's obviously gone global, from Maryland to Australia. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Tom Laporta, he told me something yesterday that just blew my mind. Listen to this. Now, of course, Tom Laporta has been in the roofing and construction business since 1984. He's done thousands of roof installations. And many of them have been with those of you in this audience. Listen to this. This is what blew my mind. Did you know this? In the state of Florida, you can open a roofing company by borrowing someone else's license. I don't know anything. The only thing I know about roofing is if I got a wet spot on my ceiling, I call Tom Laporta on his cell phone and say, hey, I got a leak in my roof. Can you come take a look? That's all I know about roofing. But under Florida law, I could go down the street, find some guy in a pickup truck that's got a license from the state, borrow his license, and all of a sudden I'm doing roofs. That's insane. Tom Laporta is the holder of his roofing and his general contractor's license, unlike other companies that are borrowing other people's licenses. That is a really scary thought, especially in the state of Florida, where the roof is so important because we have hurricanes. Okay, Tom Laporta and his team, they're honest, they're knowledgeable, they're reliable, and they'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you just need a simple repair, they'll do it. Laporta Roofing carries all the insurance, including workman's compensation on all its employees. Other contractors use waivers. Waivers? Whew. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential, HOAs, condominiums, churches, commercial, municipal. If it's a roof, Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing can do it. Give him a call on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Now, when you go to his website, laportaroofing.com, the number there is not his cell phone. Okay, so write this number down. You can call or text Tom Laporta, 954-604-4602. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is B from New York.
Hey, B.
And let's congratulate each other for happy days, normal days are back again.
Oh, yes. No doubt.
Okay. Now, Brian, is there some way we can destroy and pull the word race out of the dictionary?
Well, that wouldn't matter. It's the go-to word for the left. Any time they can't deal with someone, they call them a racist.
But we got to get rid of that word. If we get rid of that word, what are people going to be griping about next?
Well, the liberals, if you notice when I have calls from liberals, they don't do a very good job of making their case. So they it is impossible to deliver to defend liberalism in an intellectual discussion. So they always are going to go to racist, anti-Semite, homophobe, one of the isms.
That word has got to go. I don't mean to interrupt, but that word has got to go.
Well, they'll just use another one.
Word.
They'll just use another one.
What are they after? This is a gift of life. What do they want to do with their life? Just gripe and complain
Liberals,
every minute?
they want to have total control over everyone else's life.
It's not going to happen because there's a lot of us that are human beings with emotions, and we don't want to hate. Hate is a terrible word.
It sure is.
What are they after?
They are after they're after total control. That's what I told you. That's all they want. They want total control over our lives. Okay?
It's not going to happen.
No, well, they were pretty
When
close.
will they realize that?
They were pretty close. Don't you understand? You know, they were pretty close.
know,
If we
but
would
look
not
what happened.
if we would not have won this election, okay, doing what we're doing right now, it would be like Australia. It'd be illegal. Free speech would be gone. You know, they were, listen, this thing about the J6ers, right? And the pardons of all these J6ers. Some of these people have been in prison without trial for 3-4 years. That, we have a right, constitutional right to a speedy trial. These people never would have gotten out of jail. What they were moving to do, the Democrats, okay, with the J6 prisoners, was declare, like President Trump signed an executive order declaring that the Mexican drug cartels are foreign terrorist organizations, and he's going to handle them like they're ISIS. That's what they were going to do to MAGA. They were going to use the J6 defendants to establish that MAGA is a domestic terrorist organization. And like the Church of Scientology in Australia, outlaw MAGA. You understand? We had political prisoners in this country. These were political prisoners. And that's that's where we were moving. And if any Democrat, not just Kamala if any Democrat would have won this election, that's what they would have done.
And I understand, and I agree. I can see it. Others can see it. They're not going to control us. We have the power of God inside us. I don't know what they have inside them, but it definitely shows. It's coming right out on their faces. They are evil.
Yeah. Listen, they got this new thing, democratic socialist, right? That's what they call themselves. They're Marxists, they're communists, but they know the American people won't buy it, so they come up with this other phrase, democratic socialist. They were
not buy it.
They were talking about, well, liberals do. They were talking about a few months ago arresting Elon Musk because he allows free speech on Twitter.
I know. I follow it minute by minute throughout my day, and I know we have a lot of sick people in this country and in this world, but they're not going to control us. Decency, the love of God, the love of life, and appreciation for the gift of life it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They're not going to get us.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was close. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I got to run for our top of the hour break. Take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. After the top of the hour, we will go back to the phones. There's a lot going on. Great call so far this morning. And as those of you that are new to the program, all opinions are welcome. That doesn't mean we're going to agree, and that's okay. I don't mind Democrats. I don't mind liberal and Trump derangement syndrome sufferers calling in and exposing themselves in their evil movement. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. Back after this. All right. Welcome, everyone. If you are on hold, hang in there. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. Let's see, where am I going to go? Next.
More. I don't give a shit.
Oh, there she goes, yes. That's why I stopped it. I stopped it right before she said that last time. Class act. That's AOC, city member of the Congress. Talking that way. Yep, if you're on hold, hang in there. You're all welcome to call in. The number is pinned in the live chat. I tell you, these people they're out of their minds. But that's okay. That's okay. We're in charge now. Right? We're in charge. They're not. Oh, yeah, I know what I wanted to pull up. Let me cue this up. I got to queue a couple things up for the next hour.
What?
Okay. All right, stand by. I got my stories and audio queued up for this hour. Oh, Trump's amazing. Trump is absolutely amazing. Just waiting for Mike to tell me when we're going to be back. But we will be back shortly. Delaware, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. Okay. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. I'm going to take another call or two before I bring up some new things, including that lunatic bishop. Our number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631. If you're just tuning in, you missed a really hot and heated first hour. I'm here to tell you the first hour was, boy, that Trump derangement syndrome has gone global. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Sean from California. How you doing this fine morning?
Hey, Sean. I'm getting ready to come out to California.
Yeah, I remember we were discussing that, and then this, unfortunate series of fires broke out in Los Angeles County up there in Pacific Palisades.
I'm going to be there this weekend. I looked at the weather. The weather, it's rainy and cold. Ugh. I guess that's good for the fires. Put the fires out.
Yeah, it'll help with that, and I've sent some money to some fundraisers out there.
Oh my goodness! What did you do that? California's got plenty of money, man. You have state income tax out there and all that. That's crazy.
Well, the good thing is I'm sending it to people that you know them on a one-to-one basis versus trusting the government.
Oh, you're sending money to friends and stuff. That's different. Okay, okay. Go ahead. So what's on your mind today?
Well, something I'm going to talk about with some friends I actually have here in Riverside County. I'm going to leave out the names to protect the innocent, but it's a rebuttal of a lot of these folks with Trump derangement syndrome. About a year or two back, I went to a funeral for a gentleman who at one point worked for IBM. He had, I'm literally reading this off the program from the funeral, Joint Service Commendation Medal in recognition of time with the NSA. He was a lieutenant colonel, retired, and himself multiple degrees, and one of his daughters has 5 degrees. One of his daughters has 2 degrees. The other has 3 degrees. The grandchildren all have degrees. And did I mention he was a Tuskegee Airman and a Red Tail?
Wow.
The legacy we have, Brian, yeah, we want to protect it. We want the legacy where if you work hard and you put your nose to the grindstone and you succeed and you raise a prosperous family as either a member of the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy, Coast Guard, your Peace Corps, your city council, whatever your job or profession is, everyone has a chance to be fruitful, multiply, and prosperous in America, and that's what the election of Donald Trump was about.
And we all have different skill sets that make us stand out. You know, I mean, you know, some people like Lauren Sanchez, you know, they use their boobs and they that's their path through life, and it opens up a lot of doors. Some people are intellectual. Some people have other skills. You know, we all have our, you know, we all have the right to try to achieve whatever we want, but different things will stop you because you don't have a certain skill set, you know?
And if you're willing to acquire that skill set like this gentleman did with his electronic engineering, I mean, working for IBM when IBM was just starting out, holy moly, getting the Congressional Medal of Honor with the rest of the Red Tails.
And if he was a Tuskegee Airman, that means he went to college like in the 1930s. How did black men get into college and all that in the 1930s? Probably went to Howard.
Exactly. So that's the key thing is that, you know, this gentleman was willing to put in the hours, and you know, if you think someone's holding you down, guess what? That's more.
Yeah, they didn't have that.
Slingshot
that was, you know, think about that. They didn't have that DEI back then in the 30s and the 40s, but he made it.
No, sir. And guess what? His family, strong Trump supporters. That's got to irritate the left even more. African Americans that support Trump. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, don't let the hype or the, you know, flim flam fool you. The Democrats have finally. Their mistakes are catching up to them. And all we got to do use this 4 years to build a foundation to keep America great.
All right. Take care, man. I appreciate it. California MAGA. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brian. I know I'm in my vehicle driving, so I haven't heard since that Maryland caller, but that person just hurt my brain. Like when AOC speaks, they're so dumb, it's really hard to talk to them.
You're dumber just listening to them, probably, right?
That's what Freedom said, and a couple other people in the chat. It's really true. It makes you feel like you're dumb.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But, you know, Elon Musk is being attacked because he's going to downsize the government so much, and they're not going to get their money like they were used to getting.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing they're panicked about, because when he starts cutting the government money through Doge, that's the number one reason that they're after Elon Musk.
That's right.
They want him.
Yep.
They want him out of commission before he starts working with Doge.
You know, that took the heat off Pete Hegseth, though. They haven't been talking much about him.
Well, they got his ex. Think about this. Now they got his ex-sister-in-law, who's coming out talking trash that her own sister denies. Right? His ex-sister-in-law,
yep.
And it turns out that the ex-sister-in-law that's out there slandering Pete Hegseth has a Democrat law firm behind her. I don't know why somebody has to have a law firm behind them that's making these kind of allegations, but you know, of course, he's gonna be the defense secretary. They better get used to that.
Yeah, that's right. All of his picks are going to be, and you know, they're going to try to slow him down. But once his cabinet's all in place, in the first 120 days are behind him, America is going to be churning on all 8 cylinders, going full throttle, and there's nothing they're going to do to stop us.
That's right. All right, Jeff from Maine, good to hear from you, man. Take care. Now, before I'm going to get into that thing that happened in church with President Trump after the break, because I want to play the audio and talk about it. I don't have enough time till the break, but before we break though, Vivek Ramaswamy's out, right? And there's been a lot of reporting that, and Megyn Kelly has reported on this too, and she's an insider into MAGA world, so it's not just liberal media. Not only is Vivek Ramaswamy out, they say this is Megyn Kelly, he was annoying everyone at Mar-a-Lago, including Elon. So he's out. He's been dropped. He's no longer in the inner circle. And I think the reason they really got rid of him is he started that H-1B visa nonsense a couple weeks back that started this MAGA civil war that was causing us some problems. And I think right then and there, President Trump probably wanted him gone. I've always been suspect of Vivek Ramaswamy because of that Soros connection. Remember, Soros's foundation paid for his part of his college education, I think his graduate degree. And it wasn't that long ago. It was like 2010. So it wasn't that long ago. So I've always been suspect of him. But he was, Trump brought him in the fold. So, anybody Trump brings in, I'm going to lay off and support. But he's not in the fold now. They say he's going to run for governor of Ohio. All right, good for him. I don't know what I don't know where he's going to go now. Is he going to try to find a home with Ron DeSantis like some of these people are doing? Is he going to continue to be openly MAGA, or is he going to start to become anti-MAGA, Vivek Ramaswamy? Got to keep your eye on this guy. A lot of, I told you guys, when someone comes out of nowhere and starts saying all the right things that has no background that you're familiar with, you got to keep your eye on them. That's how we got Obama. So I have never been trusting of Vivek Ramaswamy. We don't know enough about him. We really don't. But we know that he's been fired by Trump, right? From Doge. So he's out. So that's not good for him, right? So those of you that are big Vivek fans, I'm a Trump fan, okay? And whatever Trump does, I support. Okay, we're going to take our first break of the second hour. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. After the break, I'll take some more calls, but I'm going to get into the church incident with this lady bishop. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back. We'll be back shortly. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Before I go to the calls, I'm going to get into the stuff with the bishop, the lady bishop, which was just insane. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, hang in there. There was an incident with President Trump, the vice president, and both of their families at the National Cathedral with this lunatic activist lady bishop who is a well-known leftist, apparently. I've not heard of her before. And what she did or attempted to do, other than humiliate herself, which she did, she tried to do to President Trump what the Hamilton cast did to Pence 8 years ago. Remember that? When Pence went to see Hamilton with his wife, and then the cast of Hamilton came out in full costume. They actually think they're the real people. I guess that's method acting. And they started lecturing Pence while he was in the audience. Remember that? Lunatics. Well, you know. So anyway, let me play this. This is so the president and vice president, their entire families, first lady, second lady, all the kids, they're at this church service at the National Cathedral yesterday, and this lunatic female activist, Marxist, commie, probably National Council of Churches bishop lectures the president. Listen.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. Okay. Now, I just want to stop down on that part. This is 2025. Where in the United States are there gay or transgender people who are afraid for their lives? This is not Saudi Arabia, and it's not 1925. I mean, if you were transgender or openly gay in 1925, or you're in Saudi Arabia or Gaza, imagine if you're transgender in Gaza, then you'd be in trouble. But in the United States, there are no gay or transgender people in the United States who are frightened for their lives. If they are frightened for their lives, they're not in touch with reality and need to have their head examined, because that's just not the reality of life being gay or trans in the United States today. I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. Oh, no, they're all, if they're illegal aliens, if they're migrants, they are criminals because they're here illegally. And I know the restaurants I go to, they don't have illegals working in the kitchen. We were at Wings Plus a couple days ago for our watch party. No illegals there working anywhere. All these liberals, they're living on the high life. They have, basically what she's crying about is they're afraid they're going to lose their slave labor force. They have these slaves that they pay 10 cents an hour to clean their toilets, clean their houses, and work in their businesses. And they're advocating to maintain their slaves. This is like the Democrats of, the 1840s and 50s here. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches. Wait a minute, how do you pay taxes if you're undocumented? If you're undocumented, you're not paying taxes. You have no Social Security number. You may have someone else's Social Security number, but you don't have a Social Security. You're not paying taxes. Sales tax don't count when you buy things with them. That's like saying, drug dealers and pimps, they pay taxes because they pay sales tax on all their pimp drug dealing money. What kind of argument is that? And when this was going on, the faces on Trump, JD, and the whole family was hilarious. I mean, if you saw the video, and hear how condescending she is. One of my least favorite personality traits are condescending people. How she's talking down to them.
proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
By the way, what's a Madara? What religion has a Madara? That sounds like clothing to me. I'm not sure what a Madara is.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
Well, I'm sorry. You know, because someone has kids doesn't mean they can do crime. Because someone has a child, should they be able to steal a car? Because if they get caught, they're going to go to jail, and their parents, you know, so their kids are afraid that daddy's going to be taken away to jail because he steals cars. Have mercy, Mr. President, on car thieves.
And that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
Ugh.
Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger. For we were all once strangers in this land.
Oh, yes. Well, she's a stranger in this land. She's in La La Land. That's where she's at. So, you know, how this happened, we don't exactly know. It was definitely a setup. So this woke bishop, she went over to talk to her friends on CNN yesterday.
What were you looking at him in that moment? What kind of response were you perhaps hoping for in that moment?
I was looking at the president because I was speaking directly to him. I was also, frankly, as you do in every sermon, speaking to everyone who was listening through that one-on-one conversation with the president, reminding us all.
One-on-one conversation. She's a lunatic. She thought she was engaged in a conversation with President Trump. She had a captive audience and went rogue. That was not a conversation. She's a nutcase. She needs to have her head examined.
You do in every sermon, speaking to everyone who was listening through that one-on-one conversation with the president, reminding us all that in the people that are frightened in our country, the two groups of people that I mentioned are our fellow human beings, and that they have been portrayed in all throughout the political campaign in the harshest of lights that I wanted to counter as gently as I could with a reminder of their humanity and their place in our wider community. And I was speaking to the president because I felt that he has this moment now where he feels charged and empowered to do what he feels called to do. And I wanted to say, you know, there is room for mercy.
You know, this condescending voice of hers, I just cannot take. I cannot take that condescending. She's speaking down to you. You know, this bishop should be, what do they call it when they take their priesthood away? They're defrocked. She should be defrocked. And I'll tell you why I say that. What she did had nothing to do with these issues. What she did was a very selfish act to promote herself. And she's done it. She did it for the publicity. Somehow she got it set up where she was running this sermon. And she's made herself a nationally known liberal activist now. And what she did had nothing to do with these poor people that she's so concerned about. It had everything to do with her elevating herself on the national stage. And just based on that, she should be defrocked. Now, of course, she's with one of these liberal lunatic churches. You know, I get that. But this is pretty bad. And this is what President Trump has to go through. You know, this is what he has to go through. They're going to continue to do setups like this for the next 4 years. Now, I want to tell you guys about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. You know, I was telling you yesterday when we were at Wings Plus for the inauguration, I don't know, 6-10 different listeners came up to me who told me that they are pain-free because of Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. One guy, he had some hip problems, and he was standing up, you know, and leaning over talking to me. He said if it wasn't for Dr. Appleton, I would not be able to be here today. I'd be in so much pain, I wouldn't be able to be here. I wouldn't be able to walk in. And I know how he feels. You know, Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 7 times. I hate to think what my life would be like if I was living in pain still, right? And these other injuries I had, I'd either be a drug addict with some addicted drug medications, or I'd be in so much pain, I don't know how I would function. But living with pain, it's not a part of growing old. Dr. Appleton can rid you of pain like he's done with me and so many of our listeners. Now, remember, with Dr. Appleton, his laser wave pain treatment, there's no drugs, no medications, no shots, no injections, no downtime. It's 100% painless. Oh, yeah, it works. And Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. Appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, too. His number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back. If you're on hold, hang in there. Hey guys, welcome back. Just queuing some things up. We'll be back on the air in just a bit. And I'm going to go back to the calls. I have a few other things I want to bring up as well. If you are new to the program, make sure you subscribe, all right? And, of course, if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind. We'll be back in about 1 minute. We'll be back live on the radio. We're at the halfway point of the show already. The golden age of America is going. What, did you guys catch President Trump's press conference yesterday? Great. It was great. I loved it. About 30 seconds. Here we go. Stand by. 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. We have passed the halfway point of today's program. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm going to go back to the phones. I've covered so much already. There's still more to cover. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Here we go. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. There's a couple other things I want to touch on. We were talking about Elon Musk at the start of the show, and I want to play this from CNN. Listen to this. This is about the J6 supporters who were pardoned.
Up front now is Jackson Reffitt. He turned his father, Guy Reffitt, into the FBI for participating in the insurrection.
Okay, now this one is of particular concern to me. This kid here who turned his dad in as a J6er. Now let me play, and of course we got the pardons have come through. Let me play this, then we're going to talk about it a little bit.
Up front now is Jackson Reffitt. He turned his father, Guy Reffitt, into the FBI for participating in the insurrection. And Guy Reffitt is currently in prison, serving a 6.5-year sentence for rioting at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. So obviously convicted and serving his sentence. Jackson, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, now pardoned by the president.
So here we are, and Trump is announcing pardons for January 6th defendants. That this could include your father, who's serving a 6-year sentence, a 6.5-year sentence as we speak. What's your reaction?
Well, I'm honestly flabbergasted that we've gotten to this point. I mean, I'm terrified. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Remember, he's terrified of his dad that he turned into the FBI.
Taken as many precautions as I could recently. I've picked up a gun. I've moved, and I've gotten myself away from what I thought would be a dangerous situation and staying where I thought my dad could find me.
Okay, so this fits in perfectly to the slanders they're making about Elon Musk, calling him a Nazi. This is textbook Nazi technique with the Democrats here, with the left, with the media. The purpose of the Hitler Youth was to turn the young people against their parents. Parents were afraid to share their opinions politically. They get turned in by their children. And this kid here, I don't know if he's how self-aware he is. He's certainly self-important. I wonder who paid for those braces that he's wearing. His daddy that he sent to prison? But under the Nazis, like with the Democrats today, they encourage children to turn their own parents in. And they're calling, what they're doing with Elon Musk is right out of Rules for Radicals. Accuse your opponent of being and doing what you're doing and what you are. And if you want to talk about not Nazi-like, look no further than the modern Democrat Party. Hold on, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Vincent Wellington.
Hey, Vince, what's up?
Yeah, that bishop or whatever yesterday was quite appalling to have her sit there and preach to the president like she knows better. I personally think that she wants to be a transgender, but given her position, she almost looks like a man already when you watched her. But that type of thought process is in a lot of our churches, man, and that starts in D.C. And a lot of these illegal immigrants, they get brought over here by Catholic and all these other type of organizations, and they make credence for them. They make places for them to live. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, she's Episcopal, and the Episcopal Church has been taken over by people like this. And my wife and I used to be Episcopal. We're Catholic now. Okay, the Episcopal Church, it's the American version of the Church of England. Okay, it's almost like the Catholic Church so far as the Mass goes and all that stuff. But it's been taken over by liberals. And my wife was raised in the Episcopal Church here. And what happened to us when we moved to Palm Beach County, we were going to an Episcopal church with our daughter. And I was doing my show prep one morning before I went on the air and found out that the youth pastor had been arrested soliciting sex from an undercover male police officer in a men's room in North Carolina. And we got the heck out of there because, somebody like that, they travel in cells. So we got out of there.
Right, yeah.
And you got to watch out in some of these liberal churches.
Yes, I agree. And that's how they were able to skew the religion for so long, because they already had it infiltrated with their people. It's the sickness that they had for these priests and all of these rabbis and all of that. A lot of it really was just power-hungry people that knew that that's where the power was. Just like in government now, that's where the power lies, so that's where they're ploying for, you know what I mean?
Well, what goes on here, I remember, I always knew there were liberals in churches and they were using these things, but I remember when Clinton was president and Elian Gonzalez was here, and the National Council of Churches, which is communist, were advocating for Castro, and they kidnapped Elon at gunpoint and sent him back to Castro's gulag. Now he's a big propaganda tool down there. He's all grown up. But, just because someone is a minister or a priest doesn't mean they speak for God. Although a lot of them, like this lady, think that they do. Did you hear? She's so condescending, this woman.
Yes, completely. And that comes from, that is a demonic thing. That woman is a demonic person. The way that she spoke about strangers in the Bible, the demons, they don't refer to them as I or me. It's only they and them.
Yeah.
Because they are conglomerates. They are conglomerates, and they all think exactly alike. And the way that they were able to use that they and them and she and her, it takes away from the individualism of people.
No doubt. Well, listen, I'm going to run, but I appreciate the call. You make some good points. I don't talk about religion too much, and I know a lot of you may disagree with me on this, okay? I'm not one to question people's Christianity. I'm really not. You don't hear me do that very often. That's for Jesus to do, right? I mean, but there's a lot of phony people out there that are ministers, priests, and pastors, and sometimes you got to call them out. And this woman and her church are very, very dangerous. Now, with that being said, that the big Protestant, I'm Catholic, full disclosure, like J.D. Vance, by the way, is Catholic, the vice president. The Protestant denominations in this country, for the most part, there's two versions of each one, a liberal and a conservative one. The Methodist, the Episcopalians, the Lutherans. They have different churches in the United States, like governments that are national, and there's typically a liberal branch and a conservative branch. I remember my wife and I, when George W. Bush was president, we were members of a Methodist church in Plantation in Broward County, Plantation United Methodist Church. And I used to do the sound and audio during the church services, because that's what I do. I was the board up to the church. And I even used to do the sound and everything during funerals. And I did one for the funeral of a 2-year-old boy who drowned in a swimming pool, and I can't do that anymore. But anyway, when the war in Iraq happened, there was a group of Methodist bishops who came out condemning the war effort. Now, this is before we knew, and revisionist. We didn't know what was going on then like we do now, that George Bush is a war criminal who was lying to us. But a group of Methodist bishops came out and condemned President Bush and our war effort. And I remember my pastor actually called a special meeting at the church and spoke out and said that they do not speak for the Methodist Church. It explained there's a liberal branch and then there's the conservative branch. We're in the conservative branch, and they are not speaking for this. They were afraid that they were going to lose people in the parish. So there's liberals have infiltrated the churches, I'm sure not just of this country, worldwide, and you have to be very careful. And from my experience, and maybe yours is different, but there's two types of liberals that infiltrate the churches. Communist activist and gay activist. And sometimes you can have some crossover, like with this lady. But I imagine that she accomplished her goal. She's elevated herself. And we're going to start to see this lady more and more. They like her. I think she's got, forgetting about her liberalism and the inappropriateness of what she did, I think she's a very unlikable person because of her condescending tone. She talks like a fake kindergarten teacher. Now, there are good people. They just don't have the right documents, okay? And you shouldn't be judging these people. They're afraid. We are not opposed to legal immigration. We're opposed to illegal immigration, all right? That's it. And by the way, the deportations have started. Now, we're going to take our last break of the second hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're welcome to call in about anything we brought up so far. We've covered a lot of territory on the program this morning, and there's a lot more to cover, too, that we haven't touched on. All right, so hang in there. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. Hey, all right, we're going to be back in a minute. So I'm at my home studio today. So when you're on hold, you're going to hear music. But when you hear my voice next, you'll be on the air. All right, hold on. Be back in 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Now, we announced a few weeks ago that our cruise, our annual listener cruise, which is coming up, we sold out. And we told you that from time to time, if there's an opening, we're going to find out about it and let you know. Because I know a lot of you have called Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, and the cruise has been sold out. You haven't been able to book a cabin. And I got a message from Ian this morning that there is a single cabin availability, and I have Ian on the line to tell us about it. Now, Ian, you said this is a deluxe cabin?
Deluxe inside stateroom.
Okay, so tell me what a deluxe inside stateroom is and why people need to call now, because this ship is really filled up.
Yeah, the ship's really filled up. Only one popped into inventory, just like, we talked about. I check first thing in the morning because obviously we want, our group to grow. A deluxe inside stateroom's definitely the nicest of the inside staterooms, and what sets it apart from the others is it's a little bigger, and they're on the higher decks, 8, 9, and 10, near the veranda rooms. It's a really, really nice room. It just doesn't have a view.
Yeah, and I've seen this cabin. And it is like, without the balcony or the infinite veranda, without the window, it's like these other cabins that have balconies and such on them. It just doesn't have that view. So it's really a nice sized cabin. And what's included with the cabin when people book?
So what's included with the cabin is the classic beverage package and the Starlink Wi-Fi internet.
That's the Elon Musk internet, which I'm going to tell you, we had it on our last cruise. It is really fast, isn't it? It's really fast.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I was just on Silhouette over the weekend, and it was blazing fast. And it even has Wi-Fi 6 support. I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting the Starlink for home in case we lose internet during hurricanes. It's so good. I love it so much on the ship. Okay, now, just to give you a recap for those, again, you want to call Ian this morning because... You don't hear me talking about the cruise too much because we don't have cabin availability to offer you, and we want all of you to be able to come. So you want to call this morning and book that cabin. We leave on March 30th, 7 days on the Celebrity. Which ship are we? The Ascent this time, right?
Celebrity Ascent, the latest and greatest.
Yeah, and where are we going? We're going to Puerto Plata.
St. Martin and St. Thomas.
Yeah, and, our group, we have shore excursions planned at every port. We got a lot of special on-board activities, things we've never done before. We're doing on this one with our group. We have dinner together every night. Our dining will be incredible this year. We're going to have window views on at our dinner tables. It's going to be a great time. So give Ian a call. Now, if you get his voicemail, leave your name and number, and he will call you back. Ian's number is 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. We want you to come, so call him now and take that last cabin. All right, Ian, take care. We'll talk soon.
All the best. Take care.
All right, yeah. This is our 6th cruise. And I want to mention, somebody asked me, I meant to ask Ian about this, to talk to him about it. Someone asked me at Wings Plus, they said, I'm alone, I'm not married, I'm a single person. Do singles go? And the answer to that is yes. A lot of people that go on our cruise come alone because we've got our own family, our MAGA family of listeners. You won't be alone. You'll have a whole family of great people, including me and Steve Kane. All right, back to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, good morning, Brian. It's Bob from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Bob. What's up?
Hey, I have a twofold question on this deportation and reporting. It go hand in hand, the two questions. One is, my first question to you is, do you think that businesses that now have or are hiring illegals will have to report these people that are working for them to the government?
Well, they're already required to do that, but Tom Holman, they're putting together a snitch line, so you can actually report illegals at your own work, like anybody can.
Right, but what happens if you don't?
Well, you're breaking the law. You're illegally employing people, like if you were employing underage children. You're breaking the law. They're gonna do immigration raids, and I remember as a kid, it was not unusual for immigration raids to take place at job sites, restaurants, businesses, and Holman says those are coming back.
So are you saying to me that right as it stands now, the law is that you shouldn't be harboring or having employees that are illegal? That you need
Well, anytime you do that, you're breaking the law. Before Trump, you're breaking the law. If you illegally employ people, you're breaking the law. You're not paying taxes. You're not paying payroll taxes. They're not paying taxes. You're already breaking the law. It's just now it's going to be enforced.
Yeah. Well, I read on the internet yesterday that Social Security will be affected because of all these illegals who pay into Social Security, but they're not entitled to it.
How will it be affected?
Because they pay into Social Security.
Those are lies. Those are lies. First off, who says they pay into Social Security? A lot of them are under the table. They don't have Social Security numbers. They have fake numbers or someone else's number. But there's the U.S. government does not have a Social Security account. They have the U.S. Treasury. There's no, I'm getting all these calls about Social Security. The left are just flooding people with false information. They want you to think that there's this bank account that the U.S. government has for Social Security, and it's always in jeopardy of being emptied. It's all part of the U.S. Treasury. There's not a Social Security account.
Oh, well, then that's a big lie because I always thought there was.
No, they always they always have told that lie. Remember, they used to talk about the Social Security lockbox. Remember that? They used to talk about that in the 90s. So, no, no. And very few people live long enough to even get all their Social Security back that they paid in. The government never gives back all your money. Very few people live long enough to get all the money they've paid in.
Hey, do you think that in Social Security there will be no tax, that Trump will go through with that?
What do you mean? No. Oh, yeah, no taxes? Yes, he's going to guess. When has Trump not kept a promise? No tax on Social Security, which is insane. This is insane to me. The government takes that money from you, your entire working life. They use it for whatever they want, right? Give to Planned Parenthood, give to Ukraine. And then when they give back your own money that they've been holding for 50 years or more, they want to tax you on the money that they took from you your whole life. They're double dipping the government. That's insane.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you 100%. So I want to know, is this penalties, are they going to start to be enforced? I mean, is this serious? I mean, isn't something that restaurants or people, okay. All right. I'll wait to see that because there's going to be a lot of people trying to harbor people.
Well, first of all, I don't buy this. Okay. Outside of like California and some of these liberal areas, I go to restaurants and I don't see a lot of foreign workers or people that look illegal. I think maybe out in California and places like that they do it, but throughout the country, I don't think it's as common as you want to think.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't ever do a survey. I know that there's some people that look like they could be illegal. I don't do surveys on them, but there are people here in Miami and parts in Broward where I could be suspect that they're illegals.
You never know. You go down to Miami and they're speaking Spanish at Burger King, right? So you never know when you go down to Miami. But this is the thing. The immigration system, they always want to pass this. They want to pass this. It's broken. The immigration system's broken. It's not broken. They just don't use the laws already on the books. And all these things are already on the books. They just don't enforce those laws. And now they're going to be enforced.
Well, I hope so, Brian. I hope you're right.
Well, it sounds like you're worried. It sounds like you're worried, like our employer's going to get in trouble, and
Well, I mean, already there are lawsuits on naturalization.
The thing about the birthright citizenship, that's up for debate. We don't know. I'm not a constitutional scholar. I know that whatever it's being used for is a misinterpretation of the original intent. And if you're here illegally and you drop a baby, that means I don't know. If you're committing a crime and you give birth, I don't know if the anchor baby status applies. Hey, by the way, thanks for the call. But one thing with President Trump, if you go back and read The Art of the Deal, The art of the deal, Trump always asks for more than he wants. So it's quite possible that the birthright citizenship is he's distracting those who oppose him. Okay? Now, I want to talk about Joe Thomas. You know, he is offering free phone consultations to our listeners. No matter where you're located in the United States, you could take advantage of this free phone consultation. He'll ask you some questions, talk to you a little bit, and then he's going to put together a custom proposal just for you. And, you know, annuities are amazing. Your money is not at risk at all, and you're guaranteed an income stream in your retirement for the rest of your life. That's absolutely amazing. You know, there's other investment stocks, bonds, you know, mutual funds, IRAs, 401ks. Do any of those, are they all of those guys risk-free and they guarantee you income for the rest of your life? I don't think so. But annuities do. So give Joe Thomas a call. Take advantage of this no-charge consultation. And he is a top guy in the retirement planning industry. Listen to this. Joe Thomas is a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by less than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. It's amazing. He's a top man in the business. Give him a call. Take advantage of this no-charge consultation. 561-743-0999. I met with a couple of listeners over at Wings Plus who were telling me what great work Joe Thomas has done for them. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website. It is easy to remember, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. See, what's going on here with the scare tactics, what the southern border migrants are, and I'm not talking about the ones that are the violent criminals. I'm talking about like the regular people, okay, that are coming here illegally. They're slaves. It's a slave passage. Yeah, they do a lot of jobs around the country. Some of them do work in restaurants and hotels, I'm sure, all over the place. But they pay them very little money because they can get away with it because they're off the books, okay? Or they're using fake documents. And what the left are afraid of are losing their slaves. It's a different type of slavery than the slavery of blacks that the Democrats had going on, but it's slavery indeed. They don't have documents. So who do they go to if they're abused, if they're mistreated, if they're not paid properly, if they're in an unsafe workplace? You know, like construction sites that have illegals. Who do they go to complain if they're being abused, if they're not paying them overtime? You know, so it's a slave population. And the Democrats want to maintain their slave population. Make no mistake about it. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. Today's show is flying by. We've had spectacular calls from the first call of the day until the last call I've taken so far. If you're on hold, hang in there. We got 1 hour to go. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back. We'll be back in about 40 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to go through a couple of things before we go back to the phones. Our number is 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. You're welcome to call in about any and everything we brought up so far today, and we've covered a lot. It's like nonstop news with Trump back, huh? Oh, my goodness. Isn't the news a lot better these days? Isn't it nice that we've got a president again? Things are, President Trump had another press conference yesterday, and he had, these AI, these tech people, and it was amazing. He brought in that one guy from Japan who made a $100 million investment a couple weeks back when President Trump was still president-elect. And President Trump tried to get him to raise it to $200 million. Remember this? And yesterday, that guy came back with these AI tech people. He says, last time I talked to you, I was investing $100 million in the United States. You tried to get me to double it to $200 million. He says, now I've brought back $500 billion. $500 billion. I mean, that's insane. This AI, all this talk when we were talking about H-1B visas, okay, and this came up during this yesterday. This upper-level AI technology, and some of it involves like cancer treatment and everything. They were talking, it's very complex. I don't understand all this stuff. This is the type of thing the H-1B visas are all about. They'll bring in top engineers from around the world to work here on the United States, so we develop these things. So I don't know why anybody would be opposed to that. Now, there's a couple things I want to touch on in the first segment. One, they're starting to go after Pete Hegseth again. And, Pete Hegseth, there was a lot of talk and celebration that we got 99 votes for Marco Rubio in his confirmation. I guess it wasn't 100 because he couldn't vote for himself. Because was JD still in the Senate on that day, I guess? And a lot of people are saying, wow, this is great, got a mandate. Even the Democrats voted for Marco Rubio. The reason the Democrats all voted for Marco Rubio to confirm him is they knew he was going to get confirmed. He's not a controversial figure like Pam Bondi or Pete Hegseth and some of these others. So they all went in together 100% on Marco Rubio because they're going to oppose Pete Hegseth. And if they can, Pam Bondi and whoever else. It was to give them some credibility. Oh, we're not against Trump. All of us voted for Marco Rubio. It was a tactic. Now, I love Marco Rubio. I used to not like him too much, but he's been good these last few years. There's just one thing that I hope does not become a regular thing, because he did this yesterday. I've seen him do this in the past, and he did it yesterday, and it's annoying when I'm watching breaking news. Does he have to give every speech in English and then do it over again in Spanish? I mean, is he the first Hispanic American Secretary of State? I get it for the ceremonial stuff that he just did yesterday. I get that. But is every speech, is he going to give it twice in English and in Spanish? I hope not, because that's a little annoying when I'm watching breaking news. I get why he did it and everything else, but please, Marco Rubio, don't do that every time. We know. You're going to hear his story a lot because people outside of Florida may not know his story. But Pete Hegseth, the new one is his ex-sister-in-law has gone public about allegations of alcohol and spousal abuse. His own ex-wife said there was no abuse. But he was asked in the hearing very specifically about this, if he ever abused his ex-wife. And now we got the ex-sister-in-law coming out. You know, for the life of me, following all these hearings throughout my life, I don't ever remember someone's sister or brother-in-law testifying against them in a Senate confirmation hearing. This is a first for me. I've heard of ex-employees and friends, ex-friends and stuff. But an in-law, I mean, my goodness. But the woman's own sister who was married to Pete said it's not true. But one of the senators, I can't remember which one, was very specific, asking him, did he ever abuse his ex-wife? It's almost like they knew, right, that the sister-in-law was coming out. And the sister-in-law is being represented by a Democrat law firm. How'd she get hooked up with that? Exactly. We know how she got hooked up. I mean, this is, this is what I was talking about with the Democrats and why the Democrats are going to continue to lose for decades to come. That doesn't mean we're going to win every election, but the Democrats is a party that is fading away because the Democrats, they're using remember Rush Limbaugh, the great late Rush, used to talk about this all the time. The Democrats have one dusty old playbook. It's all torn up and worn out. And every time they take a move right out of that old playbook. This thing about abuse, which he's denied, and of course under oath, and the ex-wife who would have been the victim, who has no vested interest in saying anything good about her ex-husband, said it's not true either. But the sister-in-law says it's true? Are you kidding me? Now, it says, wait a minute, former sister-in-law Danielle Hegseth. So is this the ex-wife of his brother? Oh my goodness, come on, it doesn't get worse than that. Now, so far as alcohol, I don't know about, there's a difference in being a heavy drinker and being an alk. Have any of you known people that were alcoholics? I mean a real alcoholic. I've known real alcoholics, sadly, in my life. A few of them. And some guy that drinks too much after work from time to time, that's not a real alcoholic. But you look at someone who's and believe me, I have known hardcore alcoholics, not social drinkers who get drunk after work. I'm talking about real alcoholics, the ones that'll drink the food coloring, right? If they can't find booze, those types. Pete Hegseth doesn't fit that. But with that being said, maybe he did drink too much when he was young, or when he came back from war. A lot of guys, they come back from these combat zones. And these endless wars that the Bushes and the Cheneys have had us involved in, there are many ways like Vietnam. One of the reasons guys in Vietnam, like some of our war on terror combat veterans, have so many psychological issues is for a couple of reasons. One, these are wars that are endless without a clear goal, so they don't know what they're really fighting for or against oftentimes. That'll mess a guy up. But these are also fights in civilian zones. And people come back from combat, and they have a lot of problems, and some of them drink heavily when they come back. We were talking about when Pete Hegseth first got named, I said he's a living, Audie Murphy, John Wayne type. And Audie Murphy, who was the highest decorated serviceman in the Second World War for the United States, after the war, he had a major alcohol problem, which led to his death eventually. It is not unusual for combat veterans to drink heavily. Some of them, they get over it and clean their act up and get off the sauce and have productive lives. Some of them end up, sadly, like the great hero Audie Murphy. But this is just nonsense. And Pete Hegseth stands up to these people like no one's business. So he, without question, will be confirmed. Now, I want to tell you guys, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow, he's famous for a lot of things, but he one of the things he's famous for is he wears a cross on the outside of his shirt all the time. You guys have seen it. And he just started offering at mypillow.com with our promo cocaine, his cross, and at a huge discount. You can actually get the Mike Lindell cross for $75 off and free shipping. And I'm going to tell you how you can do that in just a moment. There's two crosses. There's one that is a carbon copy of the one Mike Lindell himself wears. That's the one for men. And then there's a female version. It's a little smaller. And we have our own private MyPillow website that I don't give out that often, but for this one, I'm giving it out because if you go to the regular MyPillow website, you get $50 off with our promo code Kane. But if you go to our private MyPillow website, you get $75 off each of the MyPillow crosses. They are not sold as a set. They're sold individually. So if you just want one, that's it. But if you buy both of them, that's $75 off of each one of them. And free shipping as well. It's mypillow.com/Kane. mypillow.com/Kane. All right, mypillow.com/Kane. Get your MyPillow cross with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, for $75 off and free shipping. Makes a great gift for yourself and also a great gift for your Valentine. All right, we'll take our first break of the third hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, and we'll be right back. All right, we're going to be back shortly. Stand by. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm reading this story during the break about this Hegseth ex-sister-in-law. My goodness. You know, I mean, this is crazy. Okay, let me go. This is in Breitbart. Danielle Dietrich, the estranged ex-sister-in-law of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, they're assuming the clothes in Breitbart like I am, who is now claiming he abused his ex-wife, is a lifelong Democrat who is represented by a lawyer working for a prominent Democratic Party-connected firm. Now, you know, it's amazing to me in this era of the internet, when we have the most informed population in the history of the United States, because everybody knows what's going on, that they still try to pull crap like this. Dietrich is represented by Lita Walker and Ballard Spahr, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which has strong financial connections to Biden and other Democrat politicians, according to the Pennsylvania Capital Star. Individual attorneys at the ex-sister-in-law's firm, that's crazy, have been politically active for at least the last 3 decades, according to data from Open Secrets. Their giving has skewed Democrat. Let's see here. According to the Capital Star, the law firm hosted a virtual inauguration event for Joe Biden in 2020 with the Pennsylvania and Delaware Democratic parties. It also been represented one of the biggest beneficiaries of the donations has been Democrat Mark Kelly from Arizona, who's been attacking Hegseth in the hearings. According to Open Secrets, Kamala Harris was their top recipient in 2024. The law firm's Instagram page touts diversity, equity, DEI inclusion, and it goes on and on. I mean, my goodness. So we got this Kamala Harris law firm, this Joe Biden law firm behind the ex-sister-in-law, and that's being presented as a credible witness on television. I get these idiot Democrats, okay, who are on these committees that, you know, are owned by the donors, and they say these things. But this is why the media is failing. And I got to tell you something. President Trump, what he has been doing in 2.5 days in the White House, so far as the press, is absolutely amazing. Now, he's had 2 press conferences, 2 already in his second term. One yesterday, and then one the first night, right? I talked about the one on the first night. It was in the Oval Office when he was signing the executive orders yesterday. I mean, day before yesterday. And then yesterday, he had that press conference with the AI tech guys, and that turned into a press conference. The White House press spokesperson, Carolyn Leavitt, they don't even have a press conference scheduled. And who knows if she'll ever have one. I don't know. They haven't scheduled one. And it's also been said, now this was before the inauguration. We haven't gotten any updates since the inauguration, so we don't know how they've decided to do this. But they said that Carolyn Leavitt will not have, the press secretary, will not have an office in the West Wing, that she's going to be off-site, and that her press conferences, if she has one, because none are scheduled, will also be off-site. President Trump's been handling the press himself. He had an incident with this jerk from NBC who kept interrupting him. He was asking him terrible questions about the pardons. Trump was giving him answers. He didn't like the answers. He was interrupting, and Trump said, "Don't interrupt me. Stop interrupting." Remember that? And what Trump is doing, he's doing several things. One, he can handle the press like no one else can. No disrespect to Carolyn Leavitt, but no one can handle the Washington press corps like Trump can. So he wants to handle them. He doesn't want a third party to handle them. And 2, what President Trump is doing is making the legacy media, the mainstream press, irrelevant. They're no longer at the table. They're not players anymore. And the longer this second term goes on, their role is going to be less and less and less. You know, these White House press briefings, or any White House spokesperson other than Trump, is just going to be a moment where the camera is on that reporter and they bark out things that are irrelevant. And you know, that's what it is. By the end of this second term of President Trump, the traditional mainstream legacy media are going to be pretty much gone because they're losing the access. And, you know, and I was watching Ducey, who's the Fox News chief White House correspondent, last night. He was talking about the two press events that they've had, right? The press conference yesterday and then the Oval Office press conference with the executive orders. And he was talking about the differences between this president and the last one. And he said with Biden, they were, if there was a moment to ask questions, the staff would be in a panic and they were having him answer questions that were prepared on note cards. Now, they didn't really reveal this, I guess, because they didn't want to lose White House access. And he was talking about how refreshing it is for the media now to be able to ask anything. He said he could have asked Trump about sports, and he would have answered the questions. There were no restrictions, and he was answering everything. And this is what it's going to be this time around. And by the end of it, the mainstream media are going to be out of the loop. And it really should be that way because the mainstream media, you know, the White House press briefings, I was talking about this on my podcast last night, which you all should be listening to, the Brian Craig Show podcast that I co-host with my wife. It is available on all podcast platforms as well as my YouTube channel, guys. We have over 1,800 episodes of my podcast on the platforms that you can binge for months. But dropped a new episode last night. But the press have been totally weaponized into liberal activists like that bishop, right, that was at the church yesterday. That's how all the press are. And this guy from NBC News that was interrupting President Trump yesterday, he's trying to be the next Jim Acosta. I mean, Jim Acosta got like a primetime show over opposing Trump. He's in trouble now, but he's had a good run. And that's what's going on. Now, President Trump did a lot of firing of people. And one guy that he fired was this Biden chef, this Biden celebrity chef, okay? And this guy, he was fired with all those people he fired. He was appointed to some committee. I'll go through the story in a moment. But this celebrity chef was given the Medal of Freedom from Biden, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And this guy took a photograph with Ralph, who was the Florida golf course Trump assassin. Let me go through this a little bit. This is our first day in the White House. My presidential personnel office is actively in the process of identifying and removing over 1,000 presidential appointees from the previous, that's the Biden administration, who are not aligned with our vision to make America great again. And one of them is this Jose Andre, who is the celebrity chef that Biden gave the Medal of Freedom, who took a picture with the Trump assassin from the golf course here in Florida. And you got to ask yourself, how did this guy get the Presidential Medal of Freedom after he was photographed with the Trump assassin from the golf course? How did that happen? Yeah. Is there a connection? Was the medal a reward for setting them up with this guy? I mean, there's no one out there that I've talked to or heard, or you in this audience, who have not told me that you don't think our own government was behind the assassinations on Trump. What are the odds that this guy had a photograph with one of the two Trump assassins? And then he gets the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He's on this committee. It's almost like he was in on the planning. Almost like. I'm not saying he was, but like, hey, I know a guy. He's a nut. I mean, it's certainly it is a White House connection, to a direct White House connection, a Biden White House connection to one of the Trump assassins. Come on. Where's this in the news other than here in the Gateway Pundit? Not in too many places. All right, today's show's flying by. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break and be right back. Be right back. All right, guys, we will be back in less than a minute. President Trump has responded to this Looney Tunes bishop. I want to cover that when we get back. And if you'd like to call in, you're welcome to do that. The toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you're listening. We got a call from Australia today. I was surprised. Trump derangement syndrome hitting the shores of Australia. That guy was really, he was suffering. All right. 25 seconds. Stand by. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. All right, President Trump has responded to this lunatic bishop that disrespected everyone at the church service, including the church itself. Before I share Trump's response, I'll share for people that have missed it, that weren't listening earlier, what the bishop said. But what had happened was they had a prayer service at the National Cathedral yesterday. The president and vice president were there, President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, their wives, their families, and a lot of other important people. And this gay activist, lunatic, communist lady bishop somehow got put in charge of the sermon. You know, I don't know who set President Trump up with that, but I'm sure you'll find a Democrat to do it. So let me share this with you. This is what she said. And, you know, this woman, to me, there's very bad personality traits people can have. One of the worst to me is condescending. I cannot stand condescending people. This woman is so condescending. She's talking down to the president about the issues, and I guess she's forgotten that not only did he just win the national election, he won all of the battleground states and even flipped a whole bunch of counties in California in his favor. She's forgotten about that. She's trying to act as if he's some rogue guy who somehow accidentally came to power.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in...
Did she say transgender children? What are those kids that are starting to dye their hair red? I think she said transginger. So, you know, and I'm not trying to nitpick here, but it's telling me a little bit that she's nervous of what she's doing.
To have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children.
Yeah, she said transgender. That's right. So they're not natural redheads.
In Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meatpacking plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away. And that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
Okay, total nutcase. So President Trump has responded. Now, I must say, I do agree with her. I do not want transgender children who are dyeing their hair red to face any opposition for wanting to be redheads. Oh, my goodness. No, I know that sounds petty that I'm making fun of her on that. Everybody misspeaks. But that, to me, is she knows what she's doing is wrong, and she's very nervous. Now, President Trump has responded. She's an Episcopal bishop, and he put this on a Truth Social post at 1 a.m. Isn't it nice to have a full-time president again? This is what President Trump said. The so-called bishop who spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. I agree with President Trump on all of that. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into the country and killed people. Many more were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It's a crime wave that's taking place in the USA. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was very boring and an uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. No doubt about it. I love it. Got the little jab about the quality of her sermon hosting, too. Very good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. It's Jim from New York.
Hey, Jim.
So I agree with you that this so-called reverend is condescending, sounds just like Rachel Maddow.
Yes,
talking
exactly.
down to people, and they're on their high horse, and it's pathetic, and and I think you're right. Condescending is the key word here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, what
anyway,
happens with a lot of these liberals, you see this with Rachel Maddow. Rachel Maddow does not view herself as a show host. She thinks she's a teacher. She really does, and she's educating her viewers, all three of them. And that's deadly. No, that's deadly. It wasn't that funny. Don't be condescending to me, Jim. From New York. But I've known a lot of people that do shows like this. Not as good, not as interesting, or as popular, but they're on the air and they're trying to teach the audience things, right? And that it's condescending, and but the thing about this bishop though is everything she did had nothing to do with gay, trans kids or illegals. She's elevating herself. She's on primetime CNN last night, and now she's going to be the honored. I'm sure she'll be on Rachel and all those shows, and she'll be on the speaking circuit now. What she did was very anti-Christian. It was very self-serving.
She'll probably be at the next Democrat National Convention. You can bet on that. But I'll tell you one thing. So we're in New York, communist state of New York, but, man, we had an inauguration party the other day. We had a slew of people at the house, people taking days off of work just to come watch. And
really?
So I'm telling you, even New York, we're MAGA.
If it wasn't for New York City, hey, it's good to hear from you, Jim. I appreciate the call. Yeah. I love our callers from New York. I love all our callers, but the ones from New York I really like. New York is the #1 radio market in America. It's the largest market. And everybody in radio always wants to work in New York. And we have so many listeners in New York. In fact, people that watch me on YouTube, New York City, we have more people watching from New York City than any other city in America. It gives me those breakdowns. That really blew me away. So when people are in the #1 market in Morning Drive in New York City and they're listening to me or watching me online or calling me, that's a pretty big compliment. I'm always extra nice to her. I'm nice to all of you, but I'm extra nice to the New York listeners. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian. What's up?
Hey, Brian. How are you today? Brian, we're watching this, day 2 since President Trump went into the White House and that. And you see by the media, and they do not know how to deal with this whatsoever, including this pastor.
Mm-hmm.
This was a disgraceful display. They literally this whole Democratic Party, if they keep this up, is literally heading towards total oblivion. And we don't need them doing the press things in the White House now anymore at all. In fact, they were awful during the Biden years. We're just watching a collapse. And even a guy like a James Carville or President Clinton would say, you got to tack to the center a little bit. These guys.
Yeah, and have you seen the video of this thing in the church?
Oh yeah,
You look at the president and the vice president's face and Lara Trump and the whole family. It's priceless.
Yes.
And a lot of people are saying they should have walked out. If they would have walked out, they would have elevated her so high.
Yeah, I think sitting through this whole left wing onslaught they got in the House of God was the thing to do, because it makes that pastor look even worse.
Well, listen. If you guys probably don't notice this, because I don't think it's something obvious that you notice by listening to me. Even when it's with Biden, I don't question people's Christianity. That's I take religion my Christianity very seriously. I don't question people's Christianity. That's where Jesus comes in, right? But this was not a Christian act. This was anti-Christian. This is a very self-centered person who wants to be famous that we saw up there preaching to President Trump in that annoying, condescending tone.
Has the Episcopal Church come out with a statement about this sermon that she gave?
No, I really think talking about this earlier, I think she should be defrocked because of her selfishness. She is not fit to be a minister.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you think about this new issue though that she brought up? She has a lot of concern for transgender children, which I'm assuming are children who are dyeing their hair red.
Well, now they're coming at day one of their birth. They're already transgender. I mean,
transgender.
They're getting more whacked out. They're just really whacked out.
Well, you know what though? If you look at this,
anymore.
She's obviously gay, right? She's an old gay lady. That's the Democrat Party today. Old lesbians and racist blacks.
Yeah.
That's it. They really don't have an identity anymore. It's a party that's aging out.
Well, they seem to be aging at a very quick pace. I wonder where they're going to be in 6 months, because if they keep going the way they're going, even guys like Bill Maher saying, listen, we got to get off this train we're on, where it's a disaster. And this thing just yesterday was terrible.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Terrible.
It was beautiful. I mean,
for us it's great.
She made a fool out of herself, and President Trump handled it with class.
Well, he's handling it at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they don't know how to deal with Donald Trump in the White House now, and he's like on 24 hours a day. And I think this stuff actually re-energizes him to deal with this. Showing people exactly how bad this is.
I hope that Carolyn Leavitt never has a press conference. What he's doing, he doesn't want to give credibility to these people.
Well, if she doesn't have an office and stuff in the White House, I don't think she will. I actually thought they might bring back Kayleigh McEnally, but I guess not. But
too much of a pay cut. But when I was watching, I was waiting for President Trump to come out at the podium yesterday. The door opened, and somebody walked out and went back in. It was Sebastian Gorka. It was so nice to see Sebastian Gorka working in the White House.
Yeah, and I heard him call him out at one of the gatherings over the weekend, and he mentioned
awesome.
Pulled him out of the
Listen,
crowd.
I got to run for the Gold Report, but thanks for the call.
Right.
All right, take care. And I got to tell you, we have had exceptional calls on the program today. And if you missed the first hour, go back and listen to that. All right, we're going to take our last break of the day. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Brian. We're going to be off tomorrow and Friday. We were going to be off last Thursday and Friday, but it got changed. So we're going to run recorded messages with you the next 2 days, and then we'll be back live Monday. Great. Okay, stand by. Oh yeah, I was going to announce at the end, but I'm going to California, so I'll be live on YouTube out in California Thursday and Friday, but I won't be on the radio those 2 days. All right, stand by. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Gold and Precious Metals report. The metals have been like on fire this week. How are they looking today, William Youngerman?
Metals continue to rally, especially gold. Gold yesterday closing out the day at $2,744.50.
Get out of town.
As you remember, a couple of days ago, I said gold could actually challenge its all-time highs, and it looks like it might just do that. Up $36.70 yesterday at $27.4450. Silver up 34 cents, closing out the day at $30.80. Platinum and palladium both closed at $9.42. This morning, we see the rally continuing with gold up $9.50 at $2,754 the ounce. Silver down a dime right now at $30.69. Platinum up $3 at $9.45. And palladium up $15 at $9.57. So the markets continue to rally and find good strength and support for gold above $2,700 and silver above $30.
Wow, this is amazing. What's driving the gold and the silver prices so high right now?
Just world demand for the metals, especially gold. Gold has been the key player in this rally of the metals and has been dragging the others along with them, basically. But gold is really the one to be watching and getting involved in because it's the only real money left in the world.
That's right.
5,000 years of history has proven that, and we know that it's the only real precious metals that you can own that's considered money and is bought by the central banks of the world as part of their basket of currency. So that being bought up and protection of assets that are not so liquid or not so productive as real money, but are more debt-oriented. Gold has no debt to the person who has it free and clear.
Well, I hope people have been taking advantage of these great deals on the American Gold Eagles, the American Gold Buffaloes that we were talking about yesterday, because the prices at this level, but the premium's so low, you're getting incredible deals on these coins now.
Yes, indeed. And when these supplies are bought up, eventually you'll see these premiums come back up. As you know, we've seen premiums on Silver Eagles even at $15 and $20 over the silver price. Yeah. And right now you can buy them at the normal price structure as opposed to those huge premiums.
American Silver Eagles are buy recommendation right now.
Yes, indeed.
You hear that, guys? You know, you got to pay attention to some of these things because, you know, when William Youngerman tells you this or that are the best deals he's seen on them, you want to pounce. All right, listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Or give him a call, toll free. You can do all your transactions over the phone and through the mail with William Youngerman as well. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010, and find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, take care.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, we are back, and I'll go right back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you're out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ. What's up?
Well, I was thinking that Aussie guy that called in that's center-right, which is kind of a joke. I think maybe he can get together with AOC, and maybe he can take it to the Outback, and they can both just stay there.
You know, in Australia, you know, not only did they have gun confiscation, they were collecting people's guns like they did in the UK that were collector's items that were like over 100 years old.
Yeah, no, they went full. You know, that was a very strange call. I thought that was going to be a good call at first, and then it bang.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what I mean, that guy's a perfect example of it. Really, the Democrat Party has, you know, they've survived for so long on this Salowinsky diet of never give up the lie, and that's all they have is the lies. But what they don't realize, what they have failed to realize, especially now with what just happened, is that the lie has given them up.
That's right.
Okay, the damage hit home. People have felt it. I mean, Elon Musk is a perfect example of this. His son, who is gone now forever, because now he has a daughter. That pain to me, that pain, that's what to me took Elon off of the fence and got him leaning big time.
He said that. He said that. Trump
yeah,
getting shot was
his
the final
son.
thing that did it was the never Trumpers shooting Trump and Butler. Hey, listen, I'm running close to the end, but I appreciate the call. Great call. We've had great calls all the last couple of weeks. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
What's your name?
It's weird now.
Jay from Jersey?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Oh, your voice sounds different today.
Because I have you on speaker.
Oh, okay.
Let me take you off the speaker.
All right, hold on. Let me just do this. Okay, so it's
Okay,
not me.
off the
All right, get
speaker.
off the speaker. See if your voice sounds the same. I don't know. You sound much different.
Well, it doesn't matter whether my voice sounds the same or not. We're not talking
You
about
sound
my voice.
you sound like a different gender than you were a second ago. Anyway, why'd you call? What's on your mind?
Like a different gender all the time. So what does that matter?
Yeah, I'm transgender. I'm going to dye my hair red. What's on your mind?
You want to talk about... What could you let me say what I want to say? You're getting ready to go off the air. Okay, as I was saying, you're talking about this woman who spoke to President... Oh, I don't even mean to say that.
President Trump.
47.
President
47.
Trump. Yeah, that's it. You can call him 47. 47 works.
47.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
47th
He's my
president.
president. How come there's no freedom of speech when she said what she said to him yesterday, but y'all want to talk about freedom of speech?
No one stopped her. No one stopped her.
You said
slow down.
she should be fired.
Slow down.
She should be taken out the clergy and everything.
Listen.
That's what you just said.
She had her freedom. No one stopped her, but it was inappropriate.
So why should she lose her job?
Because what she did was a violation.
No.
You want the answer?
Her freedom of speech.
You don't have when you work for somebody, in this case the Episcopal Church, and they give you a role to lead a sermon. You can't go up there and just talk about whatever you want.
That was her sermon. That was her freedom of speech.
I didn't hear anything about Jesus and that.
You're wrong. You're wrong because now you want to take away her freedom of speech.
Yeah, she was inappropriate, and I don't think she's psychologically all there.
Wasn't.
She's a mental patient.
She was right on time.
All right.
It was her freedom of speech.
No one stopped her from speaking.
She should not be fired for her freedom of speech.
Freedom of
Isn't
speech.
That why Musk said he took over X so people could say what they want to say?
What she did was inappropriate, and it shows.
No,
excuse me.
All
yeah,
she
all right,
said
listen.
was
Slow
be
down.
kind
It
to
shows.
People. She didn't say nothing wrong.
She has psychological issues, and she should not be in a position as the leader in a church.
Woman. You don't know that woman to say she got psychological issues. That's wrong.
Yeah,
See, that's
she does.
That's a lie.
It's not a lie. She looks like a nutcase.
It
like
is a
you.
lie.
You sound like a nutcase. You sound like a
nutcase.
nutcase.
This woman. You know nothing about her.
I know a lot about her. I know she's inappropriate and nuts.
No, she was not. You're allowed to be inappropriate because it's called freedom of speech.
No, that's not true.
Oh, yes, it is.
The First Amendment protects you from the government silencing you.
No,
Yes.
She did not say. She did not threaten him.
All right.
She didn't do anything.
I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. Didn't he sound a little different when he was on the speaker? I don't know. There was a big voice change there. It's almost like he has a voice changer on the phone. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Jupiter Joe Thomas, he not only is a retirement planning expert, he's been doing this for over 30 years. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top guy when it comes to retirement planning, and he's offering to our listeners free consultations. Give him a call. Talk to him about annuities. Annuities is the only investment I know of where you're not risking your money and you're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life in your retirement. It's amazing. Your money's not at risk, and you get that revenue stream. Give Joe Thomas a call. Set up that consultation. It's free to our listeners. And after he talks to you, he's going to give you a custom proposal fit for just you, your needs, your situation, your goals. Here's his number. And you can take advantage of this no matter where you're located in the United States. And I met some of our listeners at Wings Plus who are clients of Joe's because of me sending them to him. And they were very, very happy. 561-743-0500. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And, of course, you can find his phone number online at jupiterjoe.com. jupiterjoe.com. Make sure you tell him I sent you. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Graham up in Stewart.
Hey, Graham.
How's it going, Brian? So I guess I have to issue a little bit of a retraction regarding Musk's, kind of awkward salute. I don't know if you've mentioned this already today on the program. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, issued out a statement stating that they didn't see a Sig Heil. They did not see a Nazi salute. They described it as very awkward, which is certainly
the ADL is very liberal.
That's why I guess I gotta eat crow because.
Oh, okay. I was right and you were wrong. Liberal. Okay, so I was right. You calling to apologize? I was right. You were wrong. I accept your apology.
It is a trend nowadays not to be able to admit that one is wrong.
When I'm wrong, I admit it.
I personally think it looks an awful lot like a freaking Nazi salute that Mussolini or Hermann Goering would do. But if the ADL is seeing that, and it's their job to analyze stuff like that, then I guess it was what it was. Musk. All I'm going to say is two things.
We're out of time.
Weird that Musk.
So you got 10 seconds.
It's weird that Musk won't deny that he did it. That's all.
Because he didn't do it.
To me that he won't.
All right. Hey, listen. I appreciate the call. ADL clears him, and he still says, "Why won't he admit he did it?" Well, the ADL said he didn't do it. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Thanks for tuning in. Call us on hold. My apologies. Stand by, and on the next show, you'll be first in line. This is Florida's longest-running radio show. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. Thanks for listening. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, all right? And those of you that called in today, thanks so much. Great calls on today's program. I got to tell you, incredible calls. And you guys did great. Now, I'm going to play this for you now because I couldn't play this on the radio. AOC because of the language. Let me pull this up. Hold on. I almost missed it, but AOC. Oh, before I get to AOC, look at this. Here's Kamala. Here, Kamala is running for governor.
Strangers, who, in the face of that stranger, they see a neighbor. These are folks who understand the strength and the value of community, which is everyone coming together with a shared sense of purpose and identity as a community of people. And I wanted to come by, most importantly, to thank them, those who have volunteered and have brought people together and have sacrificed so much, and our firefighters. And I mentioned to these firefighters the fact that California firefighters, time and time again, prove themselves to be the best. Strange.
Yeah, the best. Is she running for governor, guys? What do you think? Yes or no? Does she want to be? What else is she going to do, right? She's most definitely running for governor. Oh, yeah. You know what? In California, they're so stupid, they'll probably vote for her. You're getting the post show now, guys. We're off the radio. This is exclusive to you guys on YouTube. Oh, boy. They'll elect her. Yeah, she knows a lot about fires. All right, here's AOC. I want to play these clips because I caught it before it went out on the air, but it was real close. She's talking about Elon Musk. Listen.
You're going to do a Sig Heil?
A Sig Heil. I played that part of the first hour. A Sig Heil. She means Sieg Heil, but a Zig. What did she say? What did she call it?
You're going to do a Sig Heil?
A Sig Heil. Doesn't that sound like some kind of German beer?
You're going to do a Sig Heil. You're going to do a Hail Hitler, or their rebrand a Roman salute from behind the presidential seal of the...
You notice this now, a rebrand. So if you don't do the Sieg Heil and they want to call whatever you did the Sieg Heil, they now call that the rebrand. Well, that's not the Sieg Heil, but we're going to call it that. It's been rebranded. These people are out of their freaking minds.
From behind the presidential seal of the United States of America, it's on. It's on. And what is so important
What's that?
for us to understand is that as long as we don't give up, it's not over. It's not over. It is not over. Libs of TikTok started crying because I said over the weekend that Donald Trump is a rapist. And they went on Twitter and they went, oh, boo-hoo-hoo. And I said, basically, F you. Cry more. I don't give a shit. Like, you...
Class act, right? Class act.
You want to support a rapist? That's on you. That's on you. But I don't. And they wanted to call in all of these threats into my office and all this other stuff. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
She's gone all ghetto on us. I mean, here she is again. Let's see.
You're going to do a Sig Heil.
Okay, that's the same one. Let's see. This is a different one, I think.
Like a foundational defining thing. Two of probably the most...
She looks, something's wrong with her. See, her hair's all messed up? And her face. You know, something's kind of off with her.
Like a foundational defining thing. Two of probably the most foundational defining things about people may be on today, but I still am not rocking with anyone sympathetic to Nazis. And I will do that until I am 6 feet in the ground.
Who is sympathetic to Nazis? Does anyone know who's sympathetic to Nazis?
Like, kind of foundational to me as a human being. And so, if you're cool and want to defend the Sig Heils and the Nazi
Zig Heils.
salutes, all the, you know, whatever you want to do, that's on you. I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm not with the Nazis. How about that? I mean, but it's very important for us to assert these things.
I don't think she's pregnant. I think she's just drinking. That's why she's gained weight. Have you seen her boyfriend? Are they married? Does it look like they have the kind of sex that results in pregnancies?
Because in times like now, what people want is for all of us to just give up. They want all of us to just give up and say, America's gone to hell in a handbasket and we're done. And just let them do what they're going to do. No. If there are no good people left in the world, I want to be the last one. And that's the ethos every single one of us can take.
Now, here's the thing. AOC drives an Elon Musk Tesla. So if he's a Nazi, why is she driving his car? Now, this is what pissed her off with Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok found her doing this video of her doing the same thing. Look. Okay. See her hand? She's doing the whole thing. Oh my goodness. Is that a Sieg Heil or whatever she calls it? There she is doing what she's trying to cancel Elon Musk for doing. And what set her off to drink, because she's obviously tanked, is this. She's humiliated by this. And she should be, because she's an idiot. At least she's smart enough to know when she looks like an idiot. Well, listen, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you already subscribed, thanks for doing that. If you could like the video, click that notification bell so you get a notification when I go live, and do everything like that, I'd be very grateful. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you next time.